If you are over 60, there are two small organs in your body working quietly tonight while you sleep. Your kidneys, they are constantly helping filter your blood, remove waste and excess fluid, balance important minerals, and participate in blood pressure regulation. But here is what makes this especially important after 60. As we grow older, kidney filtering capacity can gradually decline. And according to you, S. Kidney health statistics. Chronic kidney disease is far more common among adults aged 65 and older than among younger adults. Even more concerning, early kidney disease can develop without obvious symptoms. So imagine this. It is 9:30 at night. You are sitting in front of the television and your body is asking for something to eat. You have two choices. One choice is a bowl of salty chips, processed meat, cookies, or another highly processed snack. The other choice is something simple that delivers fiber, antioxidants, quality nutrition, and very little sodium. That small decision may seem insignificant, but repeated night after night, those choices become part of the environment in which your kidneys have to function. And that is what today's video is about. I am going to show you 5 foods you can consider in the evening that fit naturally into a kidney-conscious eating pattern. Some help you reduce sodium. Some provide fiber that supports healthier blood sugar and cholesterol. Others contain natural plant compounds associated with cardiovascular health. And the final food is especially interesting for older adults because it can provide high-quality protein while remaining relatively low in potassium. But there is an important warning before we begin. If you have diagnosed chronic kidney disease, are receiving dialysis, have been told to restrict potassium, phosphorus, protein, or fluids, your diet may need to be very different from another person's. Kidney nutrition should be individualized according to your stage of disease and laboratory results. And one more thing, there is no magical bedtime food that cleans your kidneys while you sleep. The real secret is much more powerful. What you repeatedly choose instead of processed, high-sodium nighttime foods. And food number 1 is one of the smallest foods on our list, but it carries an impressive nutritional package. 2. Topic 1. Blueberries. A small nighttime snack with a big nutritional advantage. Imagine holding a handful of blueberries in your palm. They look almost too small to matter. But their deep blue-purple color comes from plant compounds called anthocyanins, members of the larger polyphenol family. These substances are studied because of their antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activity. Why does that matter? Your kidneys contain an enormous network of tiny blood vessels. Anything that supports healthier blood vessels, blood pressure, and metabolic health can indirectly support the environment in which your kidneys function. And this is where berries become interesting, rather than thinking of blueberries as a medicine for the kidneys. Think of them as part of a dietary pattern, rich in minimally processed plant foods. Research has linked diets richer in fruits and vegetables with more favorable kidney-related outcomes. Although diet is only one piece of kidney protection, blueberries can also fit into lower potassium dietary patterns for many people. The National Kidney Foundation includes blueberries among lower potassium fruit choices, although individual potassium limits still depend on kidney function and blood tests. And there is another advantage at night. Blueberries allow you to satisfy the desire for something sweet without automatically reaching for cookies, candy, ice cream, or a heavily processed dessert. Picture 2 nighttime snacks. One comes in a package and may contain large amounts of added sugar, sodium, and additives. The other comes directly from nature. That difference becomes meaningful when repeated hundreds of times over a year. Practical suggestion: try a small bowl of fresh or frozen unsweetened blueberries in the evening. Around half a cup can be enough for a light snack for many people. Avoid blueberries packed in heavy syrup, and be careful with products marketed as blueberry flavored. A muffin that contains a few blueberries is still a muffin. And don't go anywhere, because the second food may be even easier. You'll probably already have it sitting in your kitchen. 3. Topic: 2 apples. Simple, fiber-rich, and kidney-friendly. There's a reason the apple appears again and again in healthy eating plans. It isn't exotic, it isn't expensive. It doesn't come in a supplement bottle, but sometimes the simplest foods are the ones people underestimate. Apples are naturally low in sodium, and the National Kidney Foundation identifies them as relatively low in potassium and phosphorus compared with many other foods, which can make them useful in certain kidney-friendly meal plans. But the real story goes beyond minerals. When you eat an apple with its skin, you receive dietary fiber. That fiber helps slow digestion and contributes to healthier metabolic control. Why should your kidneys care about blood sugar and blood pressure? Because diabetes and high blood pressure are 2 of the most important conditions associated with kidney damage. Protecting the kidneys, therefore, isn't only about the kidneys themselves. It is about protecting the entire system surrounding them. Think of your kidneys as an extremely sophisticated filtration plant. If the pressure entering that filtration system is constantly too high, damage can occur over time. And if glucose levels remain chronically elevated, the tiny filtering structures inside the kidneys can also be affected. That is why healthy eating patterns matter far beyond calories. Now imagine replacing a slice of cake at night with apple slices dusted lightly with cinnamon. You still receive sweetness. You still enjoy texture. but you have changed the nutritional message entering your body. Practical suggestion: half to one small apple can make a simple evening snack. Slice it slowly and eat it rather than drinking apple juice. Whole fruit gives you something juice largely removes: the structure and fiber of the fruit. And if you frequently wake up hungry at night, try having your planned snack earlier rather than waiting until you are extremely hungry. Because intense hunger makes processed convenience foods much harder to resist. But our third food may surprise you because it tastes almost like candy when it is cold. 4. Topic 3. Red grapes. The sweet food you need to portion: take a red grape and look closely at the skin. That deep red and purple color signals the presence of natural plant compounds, including flavonoids and other polyphenols. Red grapes appear on kidney-friendly food lists and are also included among lower potassium fruit choices by the National Kidney Foundation. But grapes teach us an important lesson. A healthy food can still become excessive if you stop paying attention to quantity. Grapes are very easy to overeat. You don't sit down and intentionally decide to consume 40 grapes. You simply keep reaching into the bowl. One disappears, then another, then another. And suddenly, the entire bunch is gone. So the key here is portion before eating. Put your serving into a small bowl and put the rest back in the refrigerator. For people who need a lower potassium approach, the National Kidney Foundation has historically used around a dozen grapes as an example of a common serving size in educational materials. Individual requirements can still vary substantially. Another important point: choose whole grapes more often than grape juice. Juice is extremely easy to consume rapidly and doesn't provide the same eating experience as chewing whole fruit, and dried grapes raisins are much more concentrated. For a person trying to control calories or blood sugar, a small portion of fresh whole fruit is usually much easier to manage than continuously snacking on dried fruit. Practical suggestion: wash roughly 10 to 12 red grapes, place them in a small bowl, and refrigerate them until cold. Some people even freeze them. They become almost like tiny natural frozen treats. But remember what we're doing here. We aren't trying to create a kidney cleanse. We're building a nighttime routine that makes healthier food the easy choice. And food number 4 changes the strategy completely. This time, it is warm. 5. Topic 4. Plain oatmeal. The warm nighttime option there is something psychologically comforting about a warm bowl of food at night. And for some people, fruit simply doesn't feel satisfying enough. That is where plain oatmeal can become useful. Oats are whole grains containing soluble fiber, including beta. Whole grain foods can support healthier cholesterol, blood glucose control, bowel regularity, and cardiovascular health, all of which are relevant to the broader metabolic environment surrounding kidney health. The National Kidney Foundation notes potential benefits of whole grains for blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood glucose control. But there is a trap. Plain oatmeal and flavored instant oatmeal are not necessarily the same thing. Walk into a supermarket and look at some instant oatmeal packets. Suddenly, something as simple as oats can become a dessert. Added sugar, flavorings, sometimes added sodium. That is not what we're talking about. Choose plain oats whenever possible. Cook them with water and add flavor yourself. Cinnamon, a few blueberries, several pieces of apple. Now you control what enters the bowl. The National Kidney Foundation also provides kidney-conscious oatmeal recipes and notes that plain hot cereals can fit lower sodium eating patterns. For someone who tends to snack on crackers, chips, cookies, or pastries late at night, this simple substitution can completely change the nutritional quality of the evening. Practical suggestion. Consider a modest serving, around half to two-thirds, of a cup of cooked oatmeal, rather than a giant breakfast-sized bowl, immediately before sleeping. Keep it plain and lightly seasoned. And if you have diabetes, remember that oats still contain carbohydrates, so portion size matters. If you have CKD and must restrict potassium or phosphorus, discuss portions and toppings with your kidney dietitian. Now we arrive at food number 5. And this one is different from all the others, because as you age, maintaining muscle becomes increasingly important. But with kidney disease, protein can become complicated. 6. Topic 5. Egg whites. Quality protein without the salty processed meat. Imagine this common nighttime meal. 2 pieces of processed meat, cheese, crackers, perhaps something salty on the side. It may taste good, but processed foods can deliver substantial sodium and phosphorus additives, 2 nutrients that may require special attention in kidney disease. NIDDK specifically advises people with CKD to be aware of sodium and phosphorus intake, with individual recommendations based on kidney function. Now, compare that with a small serving of cooked egg whites. Eggs contain high-quality protein and are relatively low in sodium and potassium. The National Kidney Foundation specifically lists egg whites as a lower potassium protein option. This can matter after 60, because older adults also need to think about maintaining muscle and physical function. But here comes the important kidney warning. More protein is not automatically better. If someone has chronic kidney disease and is not on dialysis, the appropriate amount of protein may need to be controlled. On the other hand, people receiving dialysis often have different protein requirements. That is exactly why generic internet advice can become dangerous. The correct amount depends on the person. So I'm not telling everyone watching this video to eat a large plate of egg whites before bed. Instead, think of this as an option. If you genuinely need a small evening protein snack and egg whites, fit your health plan. 1 or 2 cooked egg whites may be a much simpler choice than processed meats. Prepare them without excessive salt. Use herbs, black pepper, garlic, or other seasonings appropriate for your diet. And notice what all 5 foods have in common. None of them are magical. That is precisely why they can be useful. They help replace foods that may be causing the bigger problem. 7. Final topic, the real nighttime kidney strategy, plus call to action. So tonight, remember these 5 foods. Blueberries, a small, colorful fruit that can provide fiber and plant antioxidants. Apples, simple, naturally low in sodium, and suitable for many kidney-conscious eating patterns. Red grapes, sweet, convenient, and best enjoyed in a controlled portion plain oatmeal. A warm whole grain option when you want something more satisfying. And egg whites. A source of high-quality protein that may fit some kidney-friendly meal plans when portions are appropriate. But the most important message in this entire video is not the list. It is this. Your kidneys do not need a miracle food. They need better conditions. Healthier blood pressure, better controlled blood sugar, less excessive sodium, fewer heavily processed foods, appropriate hydration, and a dietary pattern you can maintain for years. High blood pressure and diabetes are major drivers of kidney disease, and healthier overall dietary patterns, particularly those richer in plant foods and lower in heavily processed foods, and excess salt have been associated with better kidney outcomes. And please remember, if you already have kidney disease, do not suddenly increase fruits, protein, potassium-rich foods, supplements, or fluids because of a YouTube video. Your potassium, phosphorus, protein, sodium, and fluid requirements may be different from someone else's. Your kidneys are working for you every hour of every day. The question is, what are you giving them to work with? Tonight, when you walk into the kitchen and feel that familiar urge for a snack, remember this video. A healthier decision doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes it is simply choosing an apple instead of cookies, blueberries instead of candy. Plain oatmeal instead of a sugary dessert, and repeating that decision again tomorrow. Because health after 60 is rarely transformed by one perfect night. It is transformed by hundreds of small decisions. If this video helped you, click the like button so more people over 60 can discover this information. Subscribe to Healthy Fruits, because we share simple science-based ways to use everyday foods to support your health as you age. And share this video with someone you love, especially a parent, grandparent, spouse, or friend who wants to take better care of their kidneys. And I want to hear from you in the comments. Which of these 5 foods do you already eat? Blueberries, apples, grapes, oatmeal, or eggs? Write your answer below. And in our next video, we'll continue uncovering the simple foods hiding in your kitchen that may help you stay stronger, healthier, and more independent after 60.